two, one. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Domestic Boyfriends podcast. My name is Dean.
I am Vincent.
And we are here to give you all of the news of everything relevant. We talk about Marvel, DC, comic book news, TV news, anime news, manga news, and anything else we can think about and we find interesting. So today's episode, very special episode for us, very themed episode. It is going to be about the critically acclaimed, newest release, new blockbuster cinematic universe in the making, the Mario movie. I think it's actually called the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
It's the Super Mario Bros.
Super
movie.
Mario Bros. Movie. The Mario movie is going to be something completely different.
Sure.
It's
the Mario solo movie.
Yeah, where it's just Mario, not Luigi. So that's what today's topic is going to be. But we decided to make this entirely themed around Nintendo. I recently had a trip up to New York City due to some business stuff. So I took a couple hours out of my day and I adventured around to some places that I haven't been to as an adult and have free time. And the place that I really wanted to see was Nintendo NYC. So for those who don't know the history around Nintendo in general in America, and I guess around the world, because I guess this goes back to like pre 2005, where all around the world, I believe in like major cities in first world countries, Japan would have what used to be the best thing in the world. They used to have Pokemon centers around. Pokemon centers that would mirror what is in the modern day Pokemon Center in Tokyo. And I think it's in Tokyo. I could be wrong. Excuse me. There is one in Tokyo. The Pokemon Center Mega Tokyo. Yeah. So there was a couple of Pokemon centers, I believe, on the East Coast. One of them, the most relevant one, was the one in New York City. So it was in downtown Manhattan, and it was the last Pokemon Center to go in the United States before they eventually converted it over to the Nintendo store. So instead of it being Pokemon focused, which, you know, the transition of people that grew up with Gen 1 becoming older and it not holding its relevance, although debatably now I think it could have stayed. But what they provided and what they imported, I don't think the sales made it. It was eventually converted into this Nintendo NYC, is what it's called. But it's a Nintendo store. So during my trip, I made the journey, which was like it was 20 minutes. Not 20 minutes. Yeah, it was about like a 15-minute walk to get to a comic/manga store that I wanted to go to, and then 3 minutes from there to get to Nintendo NYC, and then anyway, I have a couple pictures that I showed Vincent, and just to like go through it in a way, when I was there, this was I believe it was a couple weeks or maybe a month prior to the release of the movie. We can go through some of these pictures. I'll talk about the one bottom down or bottom up is what I'll probably do, Vincent.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
So as soon as you walk in, for one, it's a 2-story building, not huge space. You learn when you're in New York City that they make the most out of what they have. And some things have basements, some things have the luxury of having a second floor. But they cram as much as they can in such small space. So the first one are Mario boots, which are made by Red Wing. These are one of ones that apparently were made in collaboration with the movie that they're never going to sell. Whether or not these boots actually fit someone's foot or will ever see the existence outside of this case, I have no idea. But they are insanely movie accurate. What are your opinions? Would you wear, Vincent?
Uh, I mean, I definitely would. They don't necessarily look the most comfortable. But I would definitely give them a go.
They are durable, natural leather, slip-resistant shoes made for
It's
plumbers.
it's perfect. I'll be able to go to every plumbing job for myself in the future.
Yeah.
Prepared.
So on the first floor, I didn't get a lot of pictures of this because there was way too many people, and taking pictures of people in New York is like sacrilege. So I just wanted to make sure that I was dotting all my I's and crossing my T's. On the first floor is pretty much just the store. The entire thing is a store with merchandise and everything like that. But the first floor was pretty basic. It had a couple displays that had a couple demo switches. So I was told by my brother, who had gone a couple weeks prior to me, that there was apparently a display for Breath of the Kingdom that was supposed to be coming up, but due to the preparation and the hype for the Mario movie, they wanted to put all of the Mario related games out on display. So sadly, I missed that if that was actually going to be a thing. But on the first floor, there were like 3 switches across the front that had demos that you could play. I'm pretty sure some of these even had full games that you could play, just loaded on. But of course, you couldn't take the Switch. They had a bunch of merchandise that I wish I could have grabbed. They had Nintendo shirts. They had pretty much just like everything said Nintendo, but it was in a cool color. Sometimes it'd have Japanese text on it. Some Mario stuff. I couldn't get to see past a certain point because there were so many people in line. But there was a bunch of Nintendo paraphernalia, shorts, T-shirts, everything that you can technically buy online. But there was something about actually being in the Nintendo store that just felt, I don't know, nostalgic, for lack of a better word. There was also a lot of Nintendo NYC stuff, which you could only get from the Nintendo NYC store or that part of the, I believe, the website. All good quality stuff. I don't know who they partnered with, but if it wasn't for like my time constraint, I would have definitely spent a lot more time looking at stuff and maybe buying it. But they have a bunch of like, I don't know if they're 1-to-1 scale characters, but there's like a Bowser coming outside the wall. They also say like don't touch him or climb him or sit on Bowser. A giant DK barrel that had some buttons on it that apparently made like lights and sounds from different characters. And I couldn't get a very good picture of this. But there you can see, Vincent, you can kind of see it in the background. Like the Toad and Luigi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was like a little mushroom kingdom garden type of thing in the middle there. It had like the pipes and everything like that. And if you look at the Mario picture of him on the pole, that was the top, and then the base was where Luigi was.
Interesting.
So just a lot of statues that are probably never gonna see, like the air of NYC ever, besides whatever comes in from the outside. But like really detailed statues. You'll see it like if you can skip to like the Link one. It's just amazing detail done by the people. And if you go to on the stairs, they have there's some LED screens that have some Splatoon stuff, Splatoon 2 out of course. The Splat Kids are a mainstay character for Nintendo now, so they want to show them off as much as possible. There was so once you go up the stairs, which is a spiral staircase, more like a rectangular staircase because it was like in a square. Once you get to the second floor, it is pretty great. I wish I had gotten more pictures, but when you get to it, the first thing you'll see is this giant display case that has like a bunch of Nintendo consoles I'm pretty sure like they have like a bunch of exclusives in there. They also have a bunch of old retro consoles in there, just to like show like Nintendo from the beginning till now.
Oh,
I honestly was like super taken aback by it because like some of the stuff was like, I wish I would have bought that. Like that was an exclusive that I just didn't have the money for, like because I was younger and everything like that. And then if you go to the left from the stairs, the first thing you'll actually see is this giant Splatoon gun. And Vincent can see in the picture, it is insanely game accurate and it's humongous. I can only imagine how it would feel to wield this thing. It also had like a little card that described it. Also did the boots. The boots also had that, but it was just, I don't know, it's interesting. Like you see it and you're just like, what is that? As if you're not coming, like being a Nintendo fan and everything.
I love I love the Kirby's. They're
Yes.
screaming in pain.
Yeah, so what I was gonna say before is that Kino, yes, dog, Kino Kuniya, which is not the world's, New York's largest manga store. They actually had Kirby's that you could put on your head, so it looked like he was nomming on your head.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Viewers, please excuse the dog. So if you look at the Splatoon stuff, the Splatoon, you have the little, I think there's like a manga back there or something like that. And then you had like the stuffed animals and everything like that, or the stuffed squids and stuff. That little Kirby area, that's actually the Kirby section. To the left, there were some shirts and I think some sweatpants that you can get of Kirby. And then also it was like there was like a corner, and then to the left of that was some Samus stuff for Metroid. Yes, you could get a plush. You could get a plush Metroid, and he could nom your head. They also had Animal Crossing stuff, and then if you see the Link, there was a Link statue there, and then the Link statue was to show the Legend of Zelda area, which there were a ton of amazing shirts there that I wish I got more pictures of. But all official Nintendo paraphernalia, of course. Pretty awesome. And then there was a pretty bigger section that was supposed to be for Pokemon, but it was just plushies of the starters and like Gengar and Pikachu and everything like that. So I didn't think it was that important. But the thing that like really took me away was once you got past where the display was of the Nintendo consoles, there was this giant open area that had, if you're familiar with Nintendo NYC in any capacity, you'll notice that there's a giant screen there that they usually, during directs is where people will go. If you ever see the Nintendo NYC store reacts, this is the same TV that they do like whenever there was a Smash character announced, any big announcements on direct and everything like that. Yeah, they would move these away. These little demos. So in that area, there's like four besides the screen that the TV's on, which is like the master screen, and then it has two controllers, and people can play Mario Kart on there, right? They can do a versus battle or just race against each other or whatever. There are four standing displays that on either side have a Switch or a Switch Lite that have demo games in them as well. Like I said, most of them were Mario games for the movie. But yeah, no, so they move most of these stands away. And if you can imagine it a little more, this is where all the people react to like the Nintendo announcements in New York in the store.
Oh,
Yeah. So that's cool. One of the cooler things that I saw is the I promise I'll get to your little brain scratcher that I know you were trying to talk about earlier. They had a display of the Switch, not Switches, the Amiibos. So if I was looking at this with Kenneth and James, and we looked at all of these, and I'm pretty sure this is every single Amiibo that has been released. It is.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It is all the Smash Amiibos. It even has some exclusive Amiibos. If you look at the one picture, it has like the Gold Mario and Silver Mario and some of the earlier ones. And then
Well, they
there's, like,
got Steve.
and Alex.
A
Yes.
Minecraft Steve and Alex.
They even have some of the. James was quick to point this out. They have the amiibo cards, the Animal Crossing amiibo cards,
Oh,
which apparently were
yeah.
pretty rare at the time of the release. Some of the Shovel Knight ones, and they even had like the vehicle ones for Mario Kart. I just thought it was cool. It was an amiibo table. Yeah, no, I just wish I had all of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And then the thing that caught my eye, because mostly people were just talking to it, there was this like, if you ever go to Nintendo NYC, I'm pretty sure it's gonna stay up for a while. There was this thing where you could, it's called the Talk to Mario and Luigi, and it was like this like stand from like as if you're like on a talk show, and it was like half a warp pipe that you stood behind. Sorry, and you could talk to Mario, and apparently you could talk to Luigi as well. I only saw people talking to Mario, but you just like have a conversation with him, and he'll respond to like certain words said to him, and it's cool, but also kind of creepy at the same time. Kind of like a Siri thing, but kids loved it. Kids were just like asking Mario things here and there. Like if you ask about games, what his favorite sport is, different things like that. That's like what he responds to. So
Huh. Interesting.
yeah.
Did you have a conversation with Mario?
No, I was taking a bunch of pictures and all the parents were just staring at me, so I decided to leave. So no, I did not have a conversation with Mario, sadly. Next time I am up there, which should be in a couple months ish, I'll be sure to have one and ask him about you, Vincent.
Better ask him what his opinion is on Tears of the Kingdom.
Tax fraud? Yeah. I also, kind of unrelated, but also part of my trip, I said that I went to Kinokuniya. Kinokuniya is a pretty big bookstore in Japan. The top floor, the second floor is a manga, an amazingly huge manga store, a manga section. They have a bunch of stuff. The first floor is more for like actual books and non-weeby stuff. And then the first floor was for all of the weebs because it is a Japanese floor that has like Japanese calligraphy, books. If you know anything about Kunokinya, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Kinokuniya, sorry. Kunya.
I accept your apology.
Kinokuniya. Thank you, Vincent. The thing about Kinokuniya, it is one of the only places in America that's still getting Weekly Shonen Jump sent to it. So they get Weekly Shonen Jump in every week when it would actually be released. You can buy it. They get JoJo magazine. I was actually I wanted to grab it, but the line was crazy, so I didn't feel like waiting. They get a monthly. They get the JoJo magazine in. Tons of shonen related things. They had stuff from like Kamen Rider and like Sentai and Toku related things. They had so many Godzilla things that it just was crazy. And like Evangelion and Giant Monster related things. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, they also had some Nintendo related things, mostly like plushes and stuff like that. But yeah, that was my trip to New York. I thought it was pretty relevant since I was going to go up there, and we were going to be talking about the Mario movie today. So, if you're ever in NYC, or if you are from NYC, you can probably tell how valid I was talking about everything. But yeah, there is another thing before we can get into the topic that we could talk about. We talked about it a little bit, but Tears of the Kingdom had its final trailer.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm just gonna put it out there. I think Ganondorf is going to be a good guy in this one.
Really? You think?
I was talking to a guy at GameStop, which, most intellectual conversations start at GameStop with the employees.
It's true.
So I was talking to him, and we were talking about how Nintendo properties are like wrapping up stories and like they're going full circle and everything. He was talking about Metroid Dread and everything like that in that story, and he was talking about how it kind of seems like Nintendo's doing the same thing with Legend of Zelda, because Legend of Zelda, like Breath of the Wild. Yeah, Breath of the Wild was put at like the bottom of the timeline chronologically.
Yes.
And if we saw anything from the trailers for Tears of the Kingdom, which is a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild, we see that it looks like Link is in Skyloft. It kind of seems like this is the precursor to Skyward Sword in a way. You know, the ground's been tainted with demise and malice and stuff like that. So the city, the remnants of Hyrule has to flee to the sky, and that's literally the story of Skyloft. Also, things about like the ancient hero in Breath of the Wild, kind of looking like the Ganondorf that we saw in the final trailer.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like his giant sword and like the way that he is like kind of built, the way that he holds his hair and everything like that. Yeah, it's an interesting theory. I also think it'd be a good turn from what we expect. You know what I mean? We've never.
Yes.
It's not that I would say like a evil Link would be cool, but it would really turn away from the destined good and evil that Legend of Zelda has kind of shown us. Like, if anybody's ever named Ganon or Ganondorf, we know that he's the villain, right? Or at least the world should know, because most of the time they're all like reincarnated from the previous evil person. You know what I mean? Like evil dictator or whatever. So if that's true, then I just think that it would be interesting for us to see what if Ganon wasn't it's not like it's a nature versus nurture type of thing. Like, maybe not Link becomes evil, but Ganon tries to fight it, or Ganon doesn't go with what his destiny type of thing is. You know what I mean? Very anime-esque, with the way that it would go. But I think it'd be cool.
Yeah. There have been other things that like point to like this being like a timeline thing and a like the precursor to something or the end of something. In the symbol for the game itself, there's the Ouroboros.
Yes.
The snake eating its own tail. And that could just like, point to the whole like, demise, cursing everyone. And like Skyward Sword could be the end and then also the beginning.
Yes.
Always.
Which is very confusing if they want to make any game set after it, but
it's a different timeline.
Yeah. Well, that was another thing that we were talking about. We were like, well, how do they make more games? And I was like, you just put it in between, like before Breath of the Wild, after whatever was the latest one in the timeline.
Yeah. No, exactly.
But yeah, I'm super excited. As somebody who's beaten Breath of the Wild and has spent multiple hours just like messing around in the environment, I'm interested to see what's going to be new and what's going to be more entertaining than the last game.
Yes.
Also, what that hand do?
Yeah, yeah.
Like Shadow Link. Also, some people were talking about this before when we were originally speculating stuff for Breath of the Wild, and when Tears of the Kingdom's first trailer came out, Twilight Realm. If this is where all timelines converge on Breath of the Wild, the Twilight Realm, it probably exists, right?
Yeah, and there's a chance that we're gonna see the Twilly in here. There's also like in the trailers themselves, you can see on certain characters, including Ganondorf, glowing crystal tears,
Yes, the new collectible.
which are all in different colors and seemingly sort of corresponding to like the hero medallions from Ocarina of Time, from all of the different dungeons.
Yes.
And also people, if you remember the quest line to find like the 8th legendary hero for the Gerudo tribe, for the statue,
Yeah.
on that 8th statue, there is a red diamond like just thing emblazoned there on the statue with a tear
What
on
if
it.
what if Ganondorf was the original hero? What if he was the original guardian? Like, what if that'd be so interesting.
Maybe we're the bad guy.
Well, I just think it'd be interesting. Like, it's a very like what am I thinking of?
Maybe
Like
this Ganondorf is actually an old relative of what will become Groose.
Groose. I think it's Groose. King Groose.
No, Groose from Skyward Sword. Red Pompadour.
Interesting. All right. I think we should move on to the movie. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get into it, we're gonna do our infamous rating scale that hasn't caught on yet. How many mushrooms? How many times would you rewatch this?
I'd rewatch this plenty of times. I'd easily give this like what? How many mushrooms out of how many mushrooms are we doing? Out of 5 mushrooms? I give it 4 out of 5 mushrooms.
How many times would you rewatch it if you had to give it a number?
At least 4 times.
Okay, that's fair. I'd say I'd watch it like 2 or 3 times. Rewatch it again. I actually was just rewatching it the other day. So yeah, look at that. So yeah, the Super Mario movie. Not the Mario movie, not the Mario Brothers movie. Not the Smash Brothers movie. But we'll talk about that later. Yeah, do you wanna give us a little introduction in how we get to how do we get to everything? What happened?
For
Vincent?
sure. Well, if any of you have seen the original live action Super Mario Brothers movie, they completely rehash the plot on how they get to the Mushroom Kingdom, where Mario and Luigi are actual plumbers.
Yes.
We're greeted right at the start with a amazing commercial that they made showing off their Italian accents for like the 10 seconds that they're actually Italian accents in the movie, and then we just find out that it was a ploy.
It was fake.
And honestly, probably for the best. And then, some time passes. They have some plumbing jobs. We actually get to see them plumb. We're met by their family, which is just filled with references. There's so many references in this movie. That's one of the reasons why I feel so safe about like saying, oh yeah, I'd rewatch this like 4 times. Because honestly, I feel like every single time I watch it, I will see a new reference.
Yeah, I think it was really crazy. I brought it up to you. I saw this with Kenneth and James, and I was sitting in the middle, so it was like literally just pointing random stuff out. Like you get in the first like what 30 seconds you after, besides the fact like Mario, then the Mario Brothers rap and everything like that, you get it right in it's the Knockout Pizzeria, right? Obvious reference to Knockout, Little Mac, and that's just the beginning. And I think it was such a great introduction to what we were to expect.
Mario and Luigi's grandfather is Jumpman.
I can't get around the fact that all of them kind of just look like they're related to Luigi and Mario's the redheaded stepchild. Like the uncle, definitely Luigi's dad, but definitely not. Kind of just looks like him.
But yeah, they end up getting a special plumbing job where like the streets of New York are getting flooded.
Oh,
And so
they didn't get it. Mario
well,
just
no,
Mario just
Mario
said,
took it.
He's
He's like, this is our chance.
He said,
I don't
"Fuck
know
this,
why
we're
he
gonna
said
do
this
it."
is our chance. They fix plumbing, not like sewer plumbing. They're not employed by the city.
But I mean, he did know he did know what to do. It's just
Yeah, no, he knew what to do. And so they go into the sewers to try to fix an issue, and then they end up finding a hole much deeper than they expected, going down to weirder and weirder pipes, and they find a special green pipe that just steals Luigi away. Mario follows, and it's a warp pipe that takes them into the magical world of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah,
Which is literally what happened with the Mario movie, outside of the fact that it was what, Princess Daisy that they went to rescue?
yes, not Peach, Daisy, who is not a character that we actually see, which is funny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if we should go through. I liked what we've done the last couple of times we've talked about things, points.
Yeah.
So instead of us boring you guys with a recap of the movie, although we have some pretty good voices to do so,
Wahoo.
we really should be going and getting down to some really hard hitting questions, which think about for 1 second. The execution of it all was amazing. Just to put it out there, go watch it. We're gonna talk about things here. Spoiler alert. But it's just first of all, the turnaround from people saying that they were so disappointed for the fact that they were using big names instead of like good voice actors. Definitely, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Jack Black threw out the summer's best single. But even besides that, I didn't hate Chris Pratt as Mario. I really kind of forgot it was him playing it most of the time. I'm not sure if I would have liked the obnoxious, like, faked Italian accent. You know what I mean?
No, I think it honestly was very, very smart and clever of them to have just put the Italian accent in one little bit with the trailer and be like, oh yeah, it's just to help like push sales with the advertisement.
Yeah, it's a super smart way of them to be like, yeah, we're not going to make them do it the entire time.
I was honestly like there were plenty of people that I was like, this is just a safe bet. They're gonna do good. Like I knew Charlie Day was gonna knock it out as Luigi. He's fantastic. Jack Black is Jack Black. He's gonna do good in almost every single role that they cast him in. But some of them, I was honestly like pretty surprised by it. That I didn't realize, oh, this person can both voice act and regular act, because those two things are honestly very, very different. Like Chris Pratt's Mario. Chris Pratt did a great job as Mario. It was very fun. I completely forgot the entire time that it was Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. Fred, Seth Rogen was literally just himself doing Donkey Kong, but it worked out very well. I honestly loved the fact and was laughing very, very hard when he just did the Seth Rogen laugh.
I was waiting for it. As soon as we got introduced to Donkey Kong, I was just like, I'm waiting for it. And when they got into the battle, that's literally, we went down to see James that weekend, and that's literally all we did in between sentences. We were just like,
and it made me really happy. I mean, I love Seth Rogen. He's fantastic. He's funny, and it just sort of worked out. But the person that I like the two roles, honestly, that I didn't expect to steal the show as much as they did were Kevin Michael Richardson playing Comic.
Mm-hmm.
And then who I think honestly is probably the most standout character in the entire movie is Fred Armisen doing Cranky Kong. Cranky Kong was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely have to agree. I didn't know that it was John DiMaggio who did Uncle Arthur. That's amazing. No. I definitely have to agree. Although people had their skepticisms, me included, just because it was just a big celeb cast, I think everybody fit in really well. I am very disappointed this was not live action because I still think it would have been really funny to see all these people in costumes.
Hey, I mean, just watch some of the press tour stuff for it, and like anytime Jack Black is doing anything, he was basically in character the entire time.
It was really good. And then they had him bust out his singing guns.
Oh my god.
Peaches is the number one hit.
It might get an Emmy.
Yeah, it might. It might solve world peace. Also, Kari Payton as Penguin King. I was just like, oh, this is so great. When I was rewatching this. I was just like, yeah, you definitely don't think that he's gonna win, but he has the gusto.
Do you yield?
Do you yield? Yeah.
The comedy was so good. I don't really go to movies that I think are going to be funny.
Yeah.
Or like comedy specific movies in theaters. That's not really something I do. I usually try to like wait for those so that I can just like sit at home and watch them with my friends. Yeah. That being said, this movie, it was definitely a much more unique experience than I realized it would be. Having so many people in a theater just laughing all together. And like, I don't really think any joke per se like overstayed its welcome, or any character really like was overdoing it for stuff. I can't really think of any moments like that. There were definitely characters that I wish like had like just a little bit more screen time, like Luma. Every single time Luma was on screen, it was hilarious. Having this small child just like throw out the most dark quotes known to mankind, like the hope, much like time is just an illusion. Like, who hurt you?
Yeah, the Luma. As soon as I saw it, I think we saw it in the trailer first, right? It was one of the trailers. I was just like, I was just like, oh my gosh. I was just like, we're gonna do this.
The only hope is the sweet release of death.
And also, this, we were talking about this. This is a kids movie, right? Wasn't this PG?
It's PG, yeah.
It was rated PG. You know how many times they said death in this movie, or kill?
Fresh meat for the grinder.
Yeah, like we were talking about it. We were just like, this does not meet the rating system at all.
The rating system is changing, honestly. There's a lot of stuff that like has gotten through lately.
If 2 F-bombs equals an R rating, this movie should be like PG-13.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really the action in this movie, the initial, what we got initially when we first got to the Mushroom Kingdom, I was just like, okay, great graphics. Everything seems to be pretty smooth, you know. Of course, like this being an animated movie, they made sure everything was smoothed over. But at the same time, like looking at it from a perspective of like the movie quality in general and like how they could do scenes, like with choreography, I should say. I do think they did a really good job with the way that everything should look. Mario being like, he's kind of like what I guess like comparatively he's the short guy.
Yeah.
Which I really didn't see it until he stood up against like his boss. I forget the guy's name. I think you just said it, right?
It's his boss.
His boss, Mario and Luigi. They
Oh,
had a
you mean
boss. I forget what his,
the
I
the
forget what his name.
construction worker?
Yeah, he's from one of the games. I forget his name.
Spike.
Yes,
Foreman Spike.
Foreman Spike. I was just like, oh, this guy's just huge. And then like he was next to his mom, and I was just like, oh wait, maybe he's short.
Yeah, no. Mario's always been the short one.
Yeah. But the action in this movie, the choreography, everything that was put into that, I really loved it. I loved it when we saw. It was like a Mario Maker level. When
At the very start with
yeah,
the
with Peach and everything, I was just like, yeah, no, this is
Oh.
like a tutorial level. Oh, what were you talking about?
and well, I mean that as well. That's good. And then also like them going to their first job at the apartment with the dog.
Oh, yes, quite
And then
literally.
like literally just flat. This is a Mario level.
Yeah, no. The action in that. Sorry, I should have started with that. The just that scene in general, it sets a good bar for what to expect from this movie because it's a small area, and the amount of things happening throughout all of it is really impressive. So,
Absolutely.
but when it came to the actual platforming, like when Peach is training Mario, also haha got smaller, and he doesn't like mushrooms. Apparently, was that always a character trait of Mario?
Well, I don't know. There were a couple like, old like threads and forums and stuff being like, "Oh, Mario the reason why Mario grows big from eating the mushroom isn't because he likes them or because the mushrooms are powerful or something. It's just because he's allergic."
I mean, hey,
But I don't know, maybe it was just like, a plot device that they used to like have it be funny or like show some kind of like, he's gonna make change and he's gonna change himself to be better and different because he can eat mushrooms now. But that was a little weird.
it's an interesting character trait to give him. It's kind of just like, yeah, or it's like a if they gave Luke like a fear of heights, it's just like, but you're great at flying a fighter. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, no. When we got into that scene, when we saw Peach going through the level, I was just like, wow, like this is really cool. But my favorite one, I think you might attest to this, is the Donkey Kong, not the fight scene, but when him and Donkey Kong are going through into the Mushroom Kingdom.
Going through and into the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yes, after they have come back, what was it? They come back and then they get to the front of the Mushroom Kingdom. The Koopa's already invaded and everything like that.
Oh,
And they're like scaling the walls and everything like that. Mario gets the Tanuki suit and we get fire Donkey
their
Kong.
chemistry is so funny, just firing at each other constantly. It goes from being like very angry, and like I really don't like you, to being more rivalry by the end of it.
Like Donkey, it's literally as
It's like,
soon as
nice
he
suit. Really? No.
he's just like, I won't tell anybody. He's just like, good. Or what was it? He said like,
Sometimes they were very mean. What, the one you're talking about? The dad one? Is that-
yeah, he was just like, sometimes he's like, my dad.
So
he's
my
like,
dad thinks I'm a failure, is what Mario says, and then Donkey Kong out of nowhere, because they were having this like really touching
Yeah, it
moment.
was a heart-to-heart.
Mario's trying to like have a heart to heart with him. He's like, sometimes my dad thinks I'm a failure, and then Donkey Kong just like turns his head around. It's like, your dad was fucking right. He doesn't swear, but
he's like, your dad was right. Yeah, he just so many jabs at Mario. It's so funny and like it's so relentless. It's definitely a thing that I feel like Seth Rogen has done in movies before. He's definitely played that type of character, or like just just fires off random insults like that, and it just sticks so well. God, I wish they could drop a couple F-bombs in this movie. It'd be so funny. But yeah, and to the pinnacle of all the action, of course, is the final fight scene with Bowser. They've really put an emphasis to bring the story back into it. They really put an emphasis on the star, right? Like that's the whole thing. Isn't there more? Is there just one? Is it gone now? I don't mean to bring up the possibilities of a next movie, but like that scene was amazing, but it also just made me think like, where's the star? Did it go away?
Um, I honestly have no idea.
Because
So that wasn't actually like a power star. That was just a star like power up,
yes,
right? And
they might
there
be
are
making these. They might be putting these one in like taking them hand in hand. But yeah, go on.
yeah, there are like some like things that people have been talking about online that and like might go in with like, you know, the sequel, and maybe more about like where Peach is actually from, because the backstory that we're given from her is that she just shows up,
Yeah,
and on like baby Peach, you see embroidery that isn't normally there of like stars and moons. And in the original, in Mario 64, when you save Peach at the very end, she is she shows up after transforming from the final power star that you get from beating Bowser. And Peach herself might be from space, which could lead us to Rosalina or something like that.
yeah.
I don't know. There's definitely like places to go.
Yeah, but I'm just dabbling along with the fact that like they made it such a big thing, and like Bowser gets it for what Bowser would have got it for what they got it for like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
He's like, I have unlimited power. Yeah, that's a measly threat, but
it's true.
I guess it'd depend. Yeah, I mean, if we want to, just all in all, the movie super great, super good. Definitely would watch again. Do you have any? I want to move on to talking about future stuff. Do you have anything else you want to talk about in the movie?
Just
as like
one
a whole
more
for
thing.
this? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. There have been people, and I somewhat agree with it. The plot itself, and this is one of the reasons why I don't think this is like, you know, a perfect movie, or I could give it a higher score than a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Is that the plot is just super, super basic. It's not really there. And
Super straightforward.
the movie itself moves pretty fast. I mean, it is only like an hour and a half long, which is what, you know, movies used to like, that used to be long for a movie, you know. Nowadays we're getting closer and more used to things that are like 2.5 hours, sometimes 3 hours long.
Yeah, 3 is becoming more
but
of a,
this, I think, for what this is and what they made this movie for, I don't think they made this movie for that. They made this movie for having like an insanely good plot or anything like that. They made this movie for fans and made this movie to be a fun movie. And
yeah. Also
if
for
that
kids.
was like all, yeah, and for kids. And if that's all that like is the gradable stuff on this, and like all that people cared about when making a review, I think this would be a perfect movie in that case, because if they were trying to make a fun movie and they hit it out of the park.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. I think a more intricate plot would honestly bring it down, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like making it too detailed, like they hit all of the. I feel like they hit all of the things that they wanted to. They brought nostalgia back for people. Like the older crowd definitely got nostalgia. The people in the middle, I'd say like us, are like the middle grounders, where we played the games. We know some of the media. We know the memes. And like we really enjoyed the movie for what it was, right? It didn't have to be any more convoluted or complicated. Like Mario and Peach are somehow related because she fell from a stork that came from Mario's house or some stupid thing like that, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Sorry, I just accidentally hit the LEDs off of my keyboard, and then I didn't know what the max was, so I just kept doing it. Yeah, so it hit all of the marks for kids that just know what Mario is because like they know the video games and stuff like that. I feel like it was definitely a cool movie. Enough of those jokes that we recognize, but they won't until they're probably our age or a little bit younger. A la like cartoons and cartoon showrunners putting in like subliminal messages here and there. But no, I definitely think it hit the mark. I definitely think it Nintendo Nintendo did a good thing here. If what did we say? What was the video game movie that really subverted expectations and kind of broke the curse? What did we assume that was? What did we say that was?
Sonic?
Sonic, yes. Sonic definitely did that. Mario's definitely holding it in its own footsteps, although in a different way because that there wasn't a live action movie. This was a fully animated movie. So
And
yeah,
it's opened doors for like more stuff because the Tears of the Kingdom team themselves have said that they are interested in making a Zelda movie based off of the like the how well the Mario movie did.
yeah, and I feel like that kind of just leads into the next bunch of topic, which is like the future. So bl- blame me for all this. Life is crazy. We're recording this half of the episode pretty much a month afterwards. Sorry about the delay, but we have already gotten confirmation that Nintendo has made their own studio that they're going to be greenlighting all of their future projects on underneath the studio. And it's kind of already showing what they are trying to do. Like, they're not playing around anymore. I guess before we get into what the massive Nintendo multiverse could entail, God, I don't even want to think about adding another subscription service that's based around Nintendo stuff. But the obvious next movie that we can kind of insinuate from everything that happened in the post-credits scene is Mario 2. Super Mario Movie 2. Super Mario Bros. 2. Which apparently is going to involve Yoshi. And
Yes.
that's all we know. How much of a movie can we get out of Yoshi? You know what I mean? Is it him trying to find his family? Mario and Luigi, Mama Luigi raising him?
Hopefully.
Yeah, I guess it's just, well, like throwing out some thoughts. Yoshi's Island is a movie that cannot, I guess, canonically happen unless it's like a different timeline. Unless, because oh my gosh, also Baby Mario, that Baby Mario and Luigi, amazing cameos. Just saying, the same character, but they're pretty much their own characters.
It's true. Those are great.
Him beating up the kid, oh my god, just amazing. I wish a 2-year-old would do that to me. So yeah, so the next movie involving what do you think it could be? Obviously involving Yoshi. What besides Bowser? Because what happened to Bowser? Bowser just got beat up and then exploded, right? He got beat up, put through a pipe, and exploded. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say like
And then he got put in a
Oh yeah.
No,
he's
they gave
in a
him
cage.
they put him in a jar. They put him in the jar.
Oh no, not the jar. Yeah, no. Bowser getting out, his army trying to get him. What else? Bowser doing them getting Bowser. I mean, who do you think would be the kids? The kids breaking out their dad. Do you think it's that?
Yeah. Yeah, we could totally see like
A Bowser Jr.,
Bowser Jr. We could see
Larry,
the
Roy,
Koopa kids. Larry.
Roy,
I would love Larry to be in a movie.
Lemmy. Yeah, I think it'd be fun to have. Oh, this would be like a 50. This they could do so many things. Here's my pitch. Because Mario and Luigi are now living in the Mushroom Kingdom, right? Like they just warp pipe to work or whatever.
Yeah.
A mysterious, darker Mario with a paintbrush is causing havoc across the Mushroom Kingdom, and people think it's Mario. All masquerading and seemingly working with the Koopa Kingdom, that are still in full force despite the fact that Bowser has been taken, and is trying to recapture what was rightfully theirs. Getting Bowser, dominating what I would hope would be what is the place? It's on the tip of my tongue. Delfino Plaza. A beach-like area. They brought up a couple of the other locations in the movie. I don't think any of them was like a location similar to Delfino Plaza, but like a tropical area, maybe a place that they're vacationing. It could be that instead of the Mushroom Kingdom. Give it the different scenario, like they're vacationing in Delfino Plaza, like the two of them and maybe Peach, and then this mysterious like Mario lookalike is causing havoc, and the Koopa kids seem to be allying themselves with him. Like, I think that would be good. That would be fun, and then eventually, it's Bowser Jr. So, and then Yoshi's there. So that's what I got.
Absolutely.
But since Nintendo is making their own studio, we can assume that Nintendo is going to partner with a streaming service or buy one out eventually, and create the Nintendo Cinematic Universe and be creating shows and series based off of their IPs. So we'll get to the big one at the end. We already know what we're going to be talking about there. The main IPs that Nintendo has that are the home run hits: Legend of Zelda, new game. As the time that we were finishing this half of the recording already has come out. Has voice acting in it and has really intense plot. Obvious movie there, right? Would you go see a Legend of Zelda movie?
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Another one, Metroid. Could definitely play off of like an Aliens vibe. Aliens versus Predator type of thing. More of maybe like a survival horror type thing with a Dread. Introducing a lot of those elements back from Metroid Fusion. And also just like a cool space odyssey, I think we get so riled up in some of the more linear stories with Metroid, and especially Samus being stuck on bases the entire time, that like you look at stuff like Metroid Prime, right? And you get to explore worlds, like environments are fleshed out and such. I think that would be really fun to have for a Metroid movie. I think give me Guardians of the Galaxy. Give me Star Wars. Give me the last 3 Star Wars movies, but make them good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Female lead, but good. I think that would be really fun. Could you imagine Ripley, like fully done, like not a cutscene in Smash Brothers, but like in a movie, bro?
That'd be so cool.
And seeing Samus, people seeing Samus like take off her suit, and they're just like, "What?" I feel like that should be a part of the movie. Is everybody thinks that Samus is a guy the entire time, and then they're just like, "What? Huh?" Just like in the first game, but yeah. I don't know how this would go, but Kirby, right? Kirby doesn't talk a lot, right?
No.
So I feel like they could just bring the VA, the normal VA, and just record the normal lines, and that would be it. It'd be really cool to see Meta Knight, DDD. I feel like this could have very just normal Dreamland, like everybody versus DDD type of deal, or maybe they can make it bigger. Kirby is very much a space odyssey, can be planet bound, but with the caveat that it's a giant round pink protagonist instead of lady in armor. So I think that could be really fun. Waddle Dee could just be talking the entire time, translating what Kirby's doing. That would be funny. Yeah, Meta Knight would be really cool to see. And I guess, do you think do you think Splatoon should get a movie, a TV show?
I,
They're popular. They're one of their new mascots.
that's true. Uh, I don't know though. Maybe
I
I I feel like there's other things that probably deserve a bit more limelight there, like a Pikmin movie. Um,
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah, no, most definitely. Pikmin is a
I
diamond in
don't
the rough.
I don't want to say like, only the old deserve movies and that like, Splatoon hasn't done enough to deserve a movie. But like I don't know if I personally could sit through like an entire movie where it's just, what's the dialogue? We know how they talk.
Oh,
Yeah, I couldn't sit through a whole thing of that. I'm not even able to play the games. That's one of like my biggest holdups. I just don't like the sounds.
I think it'd be fun to have like like a big kaiju tentacle movie. That'd be cool. Not for the reasons that you think.
Huh?
But I think that could be fun. I was just thinking I would pay to watch like a Parks and Rec, but it's just Animal Crossing.
Oh, that would be so good.
They also talk like
That'd
blah,
be
blah, blah,
s-
blah, blah, but still.
and then
Think it,
Tom Nook is just Ron Swanson.
yeah, 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 that'd be great. Um, and then
There's a lot of potential.
yeah, definitely a lot of potential. They have a lot of IPs. I mean, they made Game and Watch like the literal physical controller and console like into a character. So the possibilities are endless. Also, questionable tie-in with the Sonic movie. If Sega wants to do something like that, it would be interesting to see. But I definitely think we have to talk about the potential of this movie because when people think cinematic universe, they think of the team up movie, they think of the climax to the entirety of what they've been watching for however long they have been watching all of these movies for. The Super Smash Brothers movie. There is a lot. Not even counting all the characters, right? We get to Ultimate. You have all the DLC, right? I don't think Disney would ever give us Sora. That would be a big check that Nintendo would have to write out for a movie, especially the VA. We're not gonna get Cloud. I think Sakurai fought enough for Cloud in general. He wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of other ones are pretty fair game. Like I think cameos and just using some of their voice clips. Like honestly, like Terry, Ken, Ryu. They recasted Bayonetta. I don't think Bayonetta would ever be in the movie though. Maybe like as like a cameo character, not like a mainstay. But yeah, no, that what do you, would you watch the Super Smash Brothers movie?
Uh, if
If
if it was actually like a subspace emissary movie, right?
which would it would have to be maybe expanded on with like some of the ultimate stuff with the
I
Gleam
for
or
sh-
whatever.
I for sure would.
I I truly hope that if it becomes this, if this is what our end game is, that we spare no budget, we spare no resources, and then we make a game after it, so we can have Super Smash Brothers the movie, the game.
Oh God.
Could you imagine Chris every time you select Mario, it's Chris Pratt? I'm Mario.
To go.
I'm Mario. Hi, I'm Mario.
Me, yeah.
Or you select Bowser. He's like, ah,
Peach.
yeah. But yeah, no, I think it'd be fun. This whole movie was fun. I don't think it took itself too seriously. I think the future of it is very promising. And I hope the future is good. I hope Nintendo knows what they're doing. They definitely have a, I don't want to say a golden ticket, but they started off strong. You know, it's Nintendo. They have the resources for things, and they started up strong. A lot of video game adapted movies can't say the same. They can't even say that they're gonna build a cinematic universe out. Especially just pretty much adapting source material, not to the T, but like adapting qualities very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited about it. Do you have any closing thoughts on the movie as a whole? Maybe some predictions that could possibly happen, some anticipation. What character do you want a movie out of that Nintendo has the rights to?
Character that Nintendo has the rights to. Well, one comes to mind, but it's not a Nintendo character because it's technically well, yeah, it's technically a Sega character, but like, I did you ever play Billy Hatcher growing up?
Oh, I'd love a Billy Hatcher movie. That'd be amazing.
I would love a Billy. I want anything Billy Hatcher, honestly.
Billy Hatcher should have been in Smash.
He should have been. He would have been a great character for a Smash. He deserves like a remake of his game or a sequel.
I actually,
Do you know how fast I would buy like a remake of Billy Hatcher if like Toys for Bob went and gave it the Spyro treatment? Can you imagine how beautiful that would look?
So I didn't grow up with Billy Hatcher. It was actually a Let's Play that I saw that got me so enthused to try and play it that I eventually emulated it.
It's such a wonderful, just fun game.
Yeah, no, completely.
Like,
I totally.
I'm not, it's not like there aren't like fun games made nowadays, but that one was made to like just like test things out. They were just throwing darts at a dartboard and whatever stuck, they just took and ran that idea.
I also want to piggybacking off of that. I was playing a lot of Katamari Damacy during that time, so just the egg and rolling on it, I was just like, okay, I feel at home.
Yes.
Wow, that just you just blew me back to a different time. Yeah, wow. That would be actually really great to see. Wow, I can't even think of anything else obscure. Yeah, I don't know. I think, I mean, it'd be cool. I think a lot of people would be like, this is an obvious pick, but I really do love Banjo and Kazooie. I think a movie would be cool, but like, okay, not as like a super like to the T for the video game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like Shrek, right? Yeah,
Shrek already has movies.
No. Banjo Kazooie, but like Shrek.
But like Shrek?
Yeah,
Banjo-Kazooie, like...
yeah. Now that'd be fun, right?
Shrek would be a very different movie if Shrek handled Donkey like Banjo handled Kazooie.
Oh no.
Grabbing Donkey by the neck and slapping him down.
Oh my gosh, I rewatched the entire series the other day. Those are movies, man. Those are movies. Shrek is also dumb. Are we gonna do a series? Are we gonna review the Shrek movies?
Sure. Why not?
God, Shrek is
While
so
we're
dumb.
at it, we could review the Shrek 2 video game, which is just a bizarre
Retelling?
experience.
Isn't it just like a retelling of the plot?
A little bit, but like there's also like random things that happen in it that like never happened in the movie. Like what? The beginning of the game, you end up going with Little Red Riding Hood and like fighting drunken guys outside of a bar. You go and visit the Three Pigs farm and have to help like the three blind mice get escorted through areas. When you end up getting to far away, the whole level has a bunch of different mini games that you have to play, but like moving between those mini games, it's just GTA.
That's great.
Like you can like beat up patrons and stuff, and then you will get stars for a wanted level and get hunted down by
GTA.
knights. Like it's so bizarre.
I think I remember. I think we were watching a YouTube video and it got brought up. Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. But in closing,
The Mario movie was great.
yeah. In closing, I really liked the Mario movie. What was the last thing that we talked about? What was the last movie that we talked about? Or thing?
Shrek?
No. That we reviewed.
Oh, that we reviewed?
Yeah, give me a second. We have resources.
In so long since I saw you.
Oh, thankfully I'm logged in.
Log into Spoofy.
Oh, here we go. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ah,
Yeah,
right.
We didn't like
I
that
forcibly forgot that movie
movie.
existed.
We didn't like that movie. Yeah. So definitely. Oh, we didn't. The last thing we talked about was the Amalgam Universe, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, much more pleasant. But Ant-Man and the Wasp. Oh my gosh. Yeah, definitely not something that we liked. But this we liked. So yeah. Yeah, in closing, yeah, go watch it. If you haven't seen it already, it's been like a month since it's been out. Go see it.
It hits streaming services tomorrow.
Is it? Does it? Okay,
Yes.
so
It will be online and viewable and streamable. It's going to date
May
the video now, but on
May 16th.
May 16th, you
we
can
already
watch
kinda-
the movie digitally.
We already kind of dated the video, but
Yeah, whatever.
I forget you guys, except for everybody in Belgium.
Shout out to my people in Belgium.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is where we end the show. So if you guys want to get a hold of us, you can reach us at our Twitter handles. I am at lying_mask.
I'm at Vincent Barlow 8.
And you can get to both of us at Domestic BF Pod on Twitter. Shout out to Ultimate Maverick X. He actually just posted. I have a bunch of Mega Man commissions that I have through him. He actually
sweet.
He posted one of my commissions, and he actually did some additional art. And he was just like, and everybody was just like, "Wow, this is really cool. This is really awesome." I was just like, "Yeah, I'm creative. I didn't do it, but I had the imagination for it. He did it. Be amazed."
Whoa.
But yeah, no, shout out to Ultimate Maverick X for our art. And yeah, shout out to us for still doing this episode.
Woo.
Yeah. And forget all of the reasons that we couldn't do this episode. They suck. Yeah, it is the end of the episode. We will talk to you guys later.
Stay beautiful, everyone.